Listen to this dictator.
You don't have the right to pick laws that you think you will enforce, and you don't enforce laws that you don't agree with, right? That's not a law enforcement officer. That's a dictator.
What? He says we don't decide the law. He does. Okay, wait. Now he's saying they're laws, but his executive orders, are they really laws when they're not voted on by our representatives? Okay. Little education here, people. We don't elect kings. We don't elect masters. Do you hear the term public servant? That means a servant of the people. But aren't they really our masters because they're writing laws that if we don't follow, they'll throw us in jail? So really, we're electing masters, and you're not educating yourself on the system our forefathers put in place. So you're going to have King Andrew Cuomo deciding what your rights are, or they converted our rights. We have no more rights. They're all privileges now. You think they're rights, but every time you get that license, every time you get that permit, that registration, that means somebody owns you. It's how the government has manipulated your mind. Oh, we're going to create licenses for the illusion of safety and protecting you when really the license is ownership of whatever you're doing. This is why they just gave that guy a $15,000 fine in Orchard Park, because he got a business license, supposedly. But licenses, registrations, you're giving up your rights. And what keeps that in check is the legal system. But the attorneys are going to hate me for saying this. The attorneys are the problem. They're pussies. They have no balls to protect our rights and do what they're supposed to be doing. But no, the attorneys that become connected to politicians write statutes, codes, and rules that are totally unconstitutional that we have to follow. And the little minion attorneys who get the bar license are basically owned by the state, so they can't fight against the system, and they can't use constitutional principles, or they might get disbarred. So they're afraid to stand up what's right to protect us. So the only way it's going to be fixed is get rid of the freaking attorneys and start learning the stuff, yourself. It's very simple. It's very basic. It's common law. It's common sense. It's legally defined in American jurisprudence. Our legal system is unwritten law. It's uncodified. That's common sense. The Declaration of Independence says natural law and law of God, laws of nature. And to prove that works is jury nullification still exists. And that's what keeps government in check. So in a trial jury, if the trial jury feels in their heart the law is wrong, one juror can say, no, this is wrong, and that person's free to go. That's a republic. It's not ruled by majority, it's ruled by all. So being the jury has the ability to use common sense and not guilty or say and judge the law in itself, who's really judging the law? We are. It's a beautiful system, but you got to learn it. You got to want to learn it. Don't believe me. You got to research it. But no, we're given so many privileges and so many things to do, and life is good. We're not worried about dying. We're not worried about starving, feeding our family. Life is okay. And you know what? It needs to get worse before you wake up. And this is why the Roman Empire fell. Because life was so good in Rome that the citizens stopped paying attention where the good life came from. And the government became corrupted and it collapsed. History repeats itself. It's human nature to ignore what we have and to look in what gave us the freedoms in the first place. My grandfather grew up in the Depression. How many of your grandfathers did? Reminding you to save money, reminding you that they starved. They did what they could to eat. And because that deep down starving and understanding the pain and suffering, they realized it was embedded in their mind. But what happens, generations pass, we don't realize what that is, and we become spoiled and thinking that we have the system, a perfect system where we elect these servants to protect our rights. Yeah, we're led to, get this, we're led to believe by watching the TV that we elect somebody to fix government, that government fixes itself. Guess what? No, it was never intended to work that way. That's why the forefathers put the Fifth Amendment in place. It says presentment or indictment by a grand jury. A presentment comes from the grand jury. What? What are you talking? What's the grand jury? So you're led to believe the grand jury is owned by the court system. It's not. The grand jury is everyday people that sit on a panel to decide to protect you from government, to write reports to the government telling them how to fix things, and deciding what is good and what is bad. The history's there. You just got to reach out and understand it. I'll share the links to my video here. There's just some good books. Just check them out. Read them. Don't believe me. Read the legal documents. It's all there. So we need to start up these grand jury associations again. That used to, what's an associate? Grand jury? So, well, yeah, because the grand jury in 1992, U.S. versus Williams, with Scalia's opinion, he says, being the grand jury is only mentioned in the Bill of Rights, it serves as a buffer. It's only in the hands of the people, and serving as a buffer between the people and the government. Yes, the grand jury is ours to protect us from the government and bad laws. So if you're sitting as a juror and they're giving you an indictment from the government and you feel the law is wrong, if you vote, you vote as a majority, say no, he shouldn't be charged. That's the law, because we are the protector. It was created 800 years ago in the Magna Carta. It's a beautiful system, but you got to learn. You got to want to study the stuff and learn it. I teach it, but you're not listening. You want to do protests. You want to write letters. You want to vote. You think we elect a freaking president to protect your rights in these local counties? They don't affect anything in the county. The president, like this much. Your county sheriff has a right to nullify a law. He has a right to say, no, he can kick out the state police. He can kick out the federal government. What, the sheriff? Oh, no way. It's like, yes, he can. But they're afraid to because the government pays them off. Here in Niagara County, they give the sheriff's department $50 million a year. But if you don't enforce our laws, we can't give you that money. Well, tell you what, Mr. State Dictator Cuomo, I want to say bad words, but I can't. We'll keep your tax dollars. We'll decide in a county what's good for us. Let's do that. We don't need your laws. We don't need you telling us what to do. We can take care of ourselves in the community. That's why the county form of government exists. But we're being paid off. The people, the county, the state, the federal government. But guess what? It's flipped over this way. You got the federal government telling the state what to do. The state it's totally backwards, and you're falling for it. Totally brainwashed by the presidential election and dramatized. Oh my God, it's like, he doesn't affect the most important part of your life, your county and local governments. Most of you people don't even know who they are. Wake up. It's your fault. It's 100% your fault. Oh, we need a revolution. Our forefathers gave us a violent free revolution right in our own constitutions. Even the New York State Constitution in 2017, you had a way to vote for a new New York State Constitution. But you voted no because this teachers' unions put freaking signs all over the freaking state. Vote no, vote no, vote no. You listen to the TV, you listen to, oh, vote no. When realistically, you could have voted a constitutional convention, voted for laws, voted for a referendum to stop it from being manipulated, and have the people decide what's right. We could abolish the governor. What do we need a governor for? We're beyond that. We can run our state from our counties. We don't need a governor. We don't need a master like that. But it's your fault. Realize that. We don't elect masters. We elect servants. Contact me, my cell phone number, my shop number, 716-625-6125. Bye.